Hello, I thought this week we'd do this in black and white because I'm fed up with having luminescent tops. I promised I'd do one on what to do about when the kids want to lock horns. Most of them push the edges when they're about 2, or throw their toys all out the pram, particularly when they're hungry, tired, and they don't understand why they can't have their own way. And that's what 2-year-olds do, and it's great. Then they usually have another push for that at about 9, 10, and that can be quite challenging. And then again, if you haven't nailed it by then, again in the later years, either at sort of 14, 15, and then the next big one is at about 19, 20, depending on. So just get it out your system now, I think is the way forward. It is normal and it is right that they should do it, and it is best to practice in the safety of their own home, because as they get older, the consequences get worse, their imagination gets more expensive, and it is harder to deal with. When they're 2 and it all goes wrong, you can just pick them up, put them somewhere safe and have done with it. All sorted. At 9 it's harder, at 14 it's a lot harder, and at 20 more or less you're reliant on the authorities coming in at that point. So just embrace it. It is normal, and it is far better that they do it with you at home than outside. So rejoice that they trust you enough with their anger and their frustration and all that misery, because they know you're not going to divorce them. Children where it's a very turbulent or abusive family don't do it at all, because they've got too much to lose. They just keep a very low profile. So it's a good sign of normal behaviour in a normal family. I'm not saying that you know. Also, it's as family sizes are getting smaller, they don't have siblings to practice on, and they don't have kids out in the street to practice on. I mean, the older people that live around me at the moment, when they were kids, they used to sort of leave home in the morning and they wouldn't get back till the evening. They'd maybe take a picnic lunch and that was it. They'd out and play. Their parents trusted them to sort their own battles out. Now, I'm not saying that was entirely good, but it was different times. Whereas now children have only really got their parents, or if they're lucky, a sibling to practice on. It's certainly not a good idea to practice with other people's little darlings. That can lead to awkward conversations. And by practicing at home with their parents, it's stopping them going out into the workplace and either bullying their way through, expecting everything to be done their way on their terms at their convenience, but it also stops them being walked all over. Everybody needs anger and they need to be able to deal with it, because otherwise you've just got injustice after injustice and they go, oh, what can I do about it? Well, stand up and do something. So it is part of them. It's a good part of them, but they need to learn how to drive it. Choose your battles. Don't choose a battle 5 minutes before you're about to go out unless you have to, in which case make sure you win. If you're going to have to compromise before you have a clear battle plan the moment you start, what you will and won't accept and where you will and won't negotiate. Have a clear end point. Don't just get upset about it. Decide what you want and aim for that. So if you want to have a good relationship with them, calling them everything under the sun probably isn't going to help that. You have to decide, I don't want you to leave your shoes here. Please pick them up and move them on. Sometimes you just have to keep standing there repeating it. Put your swimming stuff in the washing machine. Pick up your swimming stuff now and go and put it in the washing machine, please. The washing machine's empty, the door's open. Pick up your swimming stuff, put it in the washing machine now, and just keep saying it till they do it. But choosing your battles. I mean, when I was a child, children now have a huge range of food available to them, and they have a huge what's the word? They're able to say if they don't like it. When I was a kid, you got what you're given, you liked it, you ate it, and you ate it all. I mean, certainly we were allowed to choose how much we put on our plates, but you ate it. And now I find it amazing. She goes, oh, I don't like that, or I'll just taste a bit and then leave it. And And I think that's because my parents were flat broke. They simply couldn't afford to indulge that kind of thing. So it wasn't an issue. I probably got knocked from here to Timbuktu. But I don't suppose we're allowed to say that anymore, are we? That's not. But you get the drift. Choose your battles and win them. Choose your timing so that you can win it. And it's certainly easier to do this now than later. You need a different set of resources when they're 14, and of course when they're 14 their friendships will have far more influence on them than they do now. That's another talk for another time. Remind me if you think it's necessary. There is an element that the children have to learn. There's this great fashion for allowing children to express their thoughts and make their own decisions. That's nice, that's cute. But they do have to trust you to do as they're told when they're told. They don't have to run the family. They don't have to invent everything. It's nice that they are allowed an input, but as I so often say to the 11 plus pupils, do that again and I'll shove this up your nostril. But it's important to give children choices, so I'll let you choose the left or the right nostril. Thankfully they always stop. And yeah, so they just have to, because you can't, if they're about to run out in front of a lorry, when they're toddlers, you can't say, come here, darling, because there's a lorry and it's going to run you over, and then you'll go splat all over the thing, and it'll be a nasty thing to wash out. You just grab them and pull them off, don't you? You just, you're bloody told. Sometimes, in terms of 11 plus, come in at them on a pincer movement. So if you're fed up with nagging, nobody wants to be a naggy mummy or daddy. Nobody does. So get somebody else, any other adult, to sort of say, look, get your work out, just do it now. And then when you come into the room, say, oh, darling, you've got it out before I ask. You've no idea how much I appreciate it. That's great. And just enjoy the moment. Do not turn it into an opportunity to nag. Just say, that's lovely. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Full stop. Don't go on, oh, it's so much nicer when you do that, darling, because mummy gets so cross. Don't talk about yourself in the third person either. I get so cross, but don't do that. Just, they've done something good, thank them, full stop. I see this with things like piano practice, and the parents start nagging them about the piano practice before they've even left my house. Well, I'm not offering my piano for them to practice, so it's not like they can sit down and do it. It's just they're going to go give them that all the way home. So even before they've got to the keyboard, it's a chore and it's a misery. It'd be far better to say, do you know what, I'd love to hear that Plotzian dance that you play when we get home. That's a fun one. Or could you bang out the so-and-so really loudly because it makes me think of stamping on my boss's head. And now they're feeling a hero. Yeah, I'm going to go home and I'm going to make mum feel good. Same with the 11 plus. Make them feel good. But don't take prisoners. Tricky one. And sometimes you'll get cross. Okay, cut yourself some slack. You'll get cross. Sometimes you'll lose the plot. You're human. Nobody wants St Francis of Assisi or Mother Teresa as a parents. No way. And by showing the children how you deal with your rage and their urge to kill them, and let's face it, you will want to kill them sometimes, you're teaching them it's okay, it's manageable, murder didn't happen. But you felt like it, and therefore it's okay for them to feel like it, and they won't do it. They have to learn how to deal with these emotions. They're not nice. But above all, the lesson from Lent in all of this is find the laughs. Find ways to enjoy it. So if you can see trouble, head them off at the pass, take them out to a cafe on a mummy date and do it there. They won't give you the same trouble there as they would in the privacy of your own home. Take a thermos of soup and do it on a park bench. Just find the laughs, make it fun, enjoy the moment, because this really is, despite all the frustrations, a desperately intimate time, and you will miss it when it's over. Let me repeat that. You will miss it when it's over, and they will miss you very much. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Oh, I never know how to turn this one off. Magic pen. Bye-bye.